They say Agile project management adapts to any change in scope, pace, or priority. Sounds kind of magical, until you realize it actually works. I'm Cornelius Fichtner. This is episode 524 of the Project Management Podcast, and we are exploring Agile project management, a way of working that emphasizes constant collaboration, frequent delivery, and the ability to adapt when priorities shift. Whether you call it agile, iterative, or adaptive, it's all about delivering real value at every step. Well then, how exactly does it work? In a nutshell, Agile project management breaks large projects into smaller, value-driven chunks, often called increments, features, or deliverables. And as these increments are handed over to the customer, the team gathers frequent feedback from the customer, enabling them to quickly adjust course if needed. For example, if the customer simply doesn't like what you have just given them. This approach keeps the customer focus front and center. Instead of waiting with the handover until the very end of the project, Agile teams demonstrate progress at every single step, making sure that the final results truly hits the mark. This all goes back to the Agile manifesto with 12 principles and 4 core values. Here's a summary. It begins with the value individuals and interactions over processes and tools, or people first, which means that in Agile, we value communication and relationships over rigid processes. Working software over comprehensive documentation means that working output is prioritized over exhaustive paperwork. That doesn't mean that there isn't any paperwork at all. There is just less of it. With the value of customer collaboration over contract negotiation, we keep a focus on collaborating with the customers rather than locking ourselves into strict contracts. These contracts, they are needed, but let's collaborate for success. And above all, with responding to change over following a plan, we embrace change, responding flexibly instead of following a rigid plan. If the customer changes their mind, well, we change along with them. And to clarify just once more, if you're worried that we're ignoring processes or documents, don't. Agile still values them. It just values people and real results quite a bit more. You'll also hear Agile called iterative, and waterfall is known as predictive. So, in an Agile project environment, scope is flexible and it evolves through ongoing collaboration with frequent customer feedback shaping each iterations. Teams incrementally deliver value and can quickly adjust and reprioritize work as new priorities arise. In a waterfall project, a fixed scope is defined up front and delivered in one single end release. Here, the project team follows planned steps with periodic, formal reviews to ensure stable requirements are met as they were originally envisioned. Regardless of approach, both Agile and Waterfall, they create a plan, estimate tasks, track progress, test deliverables, and reflect on lessons learned. They simply prioritize and do these actions differently. Ultimately, it's about choosing the right balance of flexibility and predictability that best serves your project's unique needs. And if you do go Agile, then these are the 5 major benefits for you. It helps teams manage uncertainty by adapting as the requirements evolve. There is a built-in mechanism for continuous improvement, so each iteration should run smoother than the last. And surprisingly, Agile can offer increased control thanks to short, focused time boxes and the visible progress. Team efficiency gets a boost through daily collaboration and transparency, and with frequent checkpoints and customer input, you are more likely to end up with a really high-quality outcome that truly meets the user's needs. Now, If you're uncertain whether your project is a good fit for Agile or not, here is my favorite way of doing things. Start by selecting criteria with which you're going to measure how well your project is an Agile fit. I have chosen scope certainty, time flexibility, risk tolerance, team collaboration, and complexity. Now rank your project against these criteria, and then in the scale that I have chosen to rank 2 projects, the outer one, the dark blue one, in this particular diagram here, is a better fit. This is obviously a simplified example, but it offers an excellent visual way to help you come to a decision. Once you're going Agile, you'll need to decide which framework to use, because Agile isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's a family of frameworks. Scrum is popular for its short sprints and constant iteration. Crystal can be scaled up or down depending on team size and complexity. DSDM wraps iterative work into a project lifecycle, pleasing those who want some governance. FTD focuses on delivering features that the customer values most, but then there are also Kanban, disciplined Agile, safe, and many more. The good news? Whichever you pick, the core Agile mindset of collaboration and rapid adaptation, that remains the same. One thing to keep in mind though, Scrum is the 800-pound gorilla of Agile frameworks and is used with about 70% of all Agile projects. It should definitely be the first one you consider. I'm going to close using the same slide with which we started, with Agile in action, but this time with recommendations. So, before you jump into Agile, here are my recommended best practices to weave into your Agile workflows. Begin with iterative builds, so deliver something tangible with each cycle. Don't forget to ask your customer for continuous feedback. Gather input from users and stakeholders constantly. Invite your team to daily stand-ups. Keep communication transparent and open, and resolve blockers. And then encourage everyone to focus on value. Always ask if what you're building truly benefits the customer. And finally, and at the same time also the absolute first thing that you should do, pick the methodology that fits your environment. Scrum, Crystal, DSDM, you name it. The goal is to use that approach that best aligns with your team, your project, and your organizational culture. Until next time.